The rain hammered the tin roof of the old family farmhouse like 1,000 accusations, each drop echoing the thunderclap of his father's voice. "Get out. You're no son of mine." Alex Rivera, 22 and trembling in the doorway of his childhood home in rural Ohio, clutched his duffel bag as if it were the last thread to his unraveling world. His mother's silent tears carved rivers down her weathered cheeks, but she turned away, the cross on the wall judging him harder than any sermon ever had. In that instant, love's sharpest blade sliced through him. Not the gentle ache of a crush, but the brutal severance from blood that left him bleeding out into the storm-swept night. He stumbled into the downpour, the gravel crunching under his boots like bones breaking, the world blurring into a watercolor of regret and fury. How had a single confession, whispered over a lukewarm dinner of meatloaf and mashed potatoes, unleashed this hurricane? Alex had always been the good son, straight-A student, quarterback on the high school team, the one who fixed the tractor and helped the church potlucks. But when the truth clawed its way out, raw and unfiltered after years of burying it under layers of denial, it shattered everything. His father's Bible-thumping rage painted him as an abomination, a stain on the family name in their tight-knit evangelical community where whispers traveled faster than gospel. "You're choosing sin over salvation," his father bellowed, veins bulging like storm clouds. Alex didn't choose. He simply stopped hiding. And for that, he was exiled. The bus ride to Columbus felt eternal. The Greyhounds hum a dirge for the life he left behind. He arrived penniless, crashing on a distant cousin's lumpy couch who eyed him with suspicion but offered a weak shelter. Days blurred into a grind of temp jobs, flipping burgers at a dingy diner, stocking shelves at midnight in a fluorescent-lit Walmart, each shift a reminder that survival tasted like grease and isolation. Nights were worse. Huddled in a one-room efficiency above a laundromat, the walls thin enough to hear neighbors' arguments bleed into his dreams. He scrolled through Grindr on a cracked phone screen, seeking fleeting connections to numb the void, but every hookup left him hollower, bodies tangling in the dark without touching souls. One crisp autumn evening, as leaves painted the Ohio State campus in fiery reds, Alex wandered into a coffee shop on High Street, drawn by the warm glow spilling onto the sidewalk like an invitation to belong. The aroma of roasted beans wrapped around him, a brief reprieve from the chill seeping into his bones. He ordered a black coffee with his last $5, settling into a corner booth with a dog-eared copy of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass, its pages dog-eared from library loans. Poetry had been his secret rebellion, words that sang of bodies electric and loves unashamed. That's when Jordan Hayes walked in. Jordan was a vision, tall and lean, with blonde hair that caught the light like wheat fields at dawn, blue eyes sharp as Lake Erie's winter sky, and a smile that disarmed like sunlight piercing clouds. Early 30s, a graphic designer freelancing from a laptop bag slung over one shoulder, he moved with the easy grace of someone who'd navigated his own storms. Their eyes met over steaming mugs, Alex's guarded hope clashing with Jordan's quiet curiosity. "Mind if I join? Every table's a battlefield tonight," Jordan said, his voice smooth with a Midwestern lilt softened by city edges. Alex nodded, heart pounding like a bass drum in his chest. What started as small talk, favorite bands, the absurdity of Buckeye football fandom, unraveled into confessions under the shop's Edison bulbs. Jordan shared his own coming-out scars, disowned by a steel mill family in Youngstown, piecing together a life in the Buckeye State's progressive pockets. "It's like they hand you a map to hell and call it freedom," Jordan quipped, but his eyes held no bitterness, only the resilient spark of someone who'd rebuilt from ashes. Alex felt seen, truly seen, for the first time since that rainy night. By closing time, they were walking arm in arm down the leaf-strewn streets, laughter bubbling up like a spring long capped. Their first kiss happened under a street lamp's halo, tentative at first, then fierce, a collision of pent-up longing that tasted of coffee and courage. Jordan's hands cupped Alex's face, thumbs tracing the stubble-shadowed jaw, as if memorizing the map of his pain. "You're not broken," Jordan murmured against his lips. "You're just beginning." That night, in Jordan's cozy apartment overlooking the Scioto River, they explored each other with the reverence of pilgrims, bodies arching in the dim light of a bedside lamp, whispers weaving promises into the sheets. It wasn't just sex, it was reclamation, two souls forging a sanctuary from the wreckage. But love, in its raw bloom, couldn't erase the ghosts. Alex's nightmares jolted him awake, sweat-soaked and gasping, the echo of his father's voice branding him unworthy. Jordan held him through the tremors, his steady heartbeat a lighthouse in the fog. "We'll build something unbreakable," Jordan vowed one dawn, as they watched the river glitter below. "A life where rejection has no room." Emboldened, Alex enrolled in community college, majoring in social work, channeling his hurt into a fire to help others cast aside. Jordan's designs paid the bills, his freelance gigs for queer nonprofits, a quiet activism that mirrored Alex's growing resolve. Months turned to a year, their bond deepening like roots in fertile soil. Weekends meant hikes in Hocking Hills, where waterfalls roared approval, or lazy Sundays cooking paella. Alex's nod to his Mexican-American heritage from his mother's side, while Jordan strummed folk tunes on his guitar. Yet, beneath the romance simmered a yearning. For more than two, for a family that defied the voids carved by loss. What if we could give someone what we never had? Alex mused one evening, curled on the couch with Jordan's head in his lap. Jordan's eyes lit with that familiar spark. Adoption. Yeah, but not the easy ones. The kids nobody fights for. The idea took root, fierce and unyielding. In Ohio's foster system, thousands languished, teens with rap sheets, siblings too large for tidy homes, children scarred by neglect. Alex, interning at a child welfare agency, saw their files like open wounds, stories of abuse, abandonment, the system's cold shuffle. One case haunted him. Marcus, a 14-year-old black boy with a defiant glare masking terror, bounced through 20 homes, labeled unadoptable for his anger. "He needs warriors, not saviors," Alex told Jordan, voice cracking. Their application process was a gauntlet. Home studies probing every corner of their lives, interviews dissecting their non-traditional union, skepticism from caseworkers who viewed gay dads as a risk. Rejection stung again, this time from faceless bureaucrats. "The board feels you're not stable enough," one email read, a knife twist in Alex's gut. But Jordan's hand on his shoulders steadied him. "We fight smarter, not harder." They appealed, rallied letters from mentors, proved their love steel. 6 months in, a miracle. Approval for a sibling group. 3 kids the system deemed too much. Lila, 7, a firecracker Latina girl with braids and a laugh that could melt glaciers. Her brother Kai, 10, a quiet Vietnamese-American boy who spoke more to soccer balls than people. And little Rosie, 5, a pale wisp of a girl with red curls and eyes that held the weight of forgotten Christmases. The first meeting was chaos wrapped in hope. In a sterile agency, playroom smelling of crayons and antiseptic. Lila charged in, fist balled, demanding, "You ain't real dads. Nobody wants us." Kai hung back, kicking a toy truck, while Rosie clung to a stuffed bear, thumb in mouth. Alex knelt, heart hammering. "We're the ones who see you. All of you. The messy, the mad, the magic." Jordan added softly, "And we're scared too. But together, we're unstoppable." That day, walls cracked. Lila's tough shell fissured with a reluctant game of tag. Kai's silence broke with a shy goal scored on a makeshift field. Rosie's tiny hand slipped into Jordan's, a bridge across the chasm. Bringing them home was a whirlwind. Boxes of donated clothes, therapy sessions unpacking traumas, midnight feedings where Alex rocked Rosie through night terrors, whispering, "You're safe now, Estrelita." Romance wove through the frenzy. Stolen kisses in the kitchen while pancakes sizzled, Jordan sketches of the kids adorning fridge doors like badges of their evolving family. But shadows loomed. Lila's school, bully sneered, freak parents, igniting her rage into a suspension. Kai withdrew after a classmate's taunt about his weird dads. And Alex's past resurfaced. A letter from his mother, postmarked with regret, but laced with conditional pleas. "Come back, repent, leave that life." The weight pressed, testing their vows. One stormy night, as thunder rattled the windows of their modest Columbus row house, Lila lashed out, hurling accusations born of old hurts. "You'll leave us too." Alex's chest caved, echoes of his own rejection roaring back. Jordan pulled him aside in the hallway, rain lashing the panes like accusations. "We're not them," he said, forehead to forehead. "We're us, and that's enough." In that raw moment, they made love on the living room rug, urgent and affirming, bodies a testament to endurance, the kids asleep upstairs oblivious to the recommitment sealing their home. As winter thawed into spring, the family knit tighter. Lila's art classes bloomed with vibrant murals of their superhero squad. Kai's soccer team cheered his hat tricks, Jordan coaching from the sidelines with proud whoops. Rosie's giggles filled bedtime stories. Alex's voice weaving tales of brave boys who found their hearts. Yet the system's claws lingered, a custody review loomed, caseworkers nitpicking their lifestyle with veiled homophobia. Prove you're fit, the lead social worker challenged, her tone a scalpel. Alex poured his soul into preparation, journals of milestones, photos of park picnics where Jordan pushed Rosie on swings, Lila and Kai building forts from couch cushions. The hearing day arrived under a sky heavy with clouds, the courtroom's oak panels echoing like a confessional. Testimonies flowed, the kids' therapist praising their progress, neighbors vouching for the loud, loving chaos next door. When the judge, a stern woman with silver-streaked hair, rendered her verdict, her voice softened. Family isn't blood or form. It's choice. And you've chosen well. Approval granted. Tears streamed as they emerged into sunlight. Lila hoisting a sign. Officially ours. But triumph was fleeting. A deeper storm brewed. Jordan's freelance dried up in an economic dip, bills piling like unspoken fears. Alex's internship ended without a full-time offer, forcing him to moonlight as a barista, exhaustion etching lines around his eyes. Whispers from the past grew louder. His father's obituary in the local paper, a heart attack at 65, no mention of the son he'd cast out. Guilt gnawed. Had the rejection hastened the end? Alex drove to Ohio alone, the highway a ribbon of unresolved grief, pulling up to the farmhouse now silent, weeds choking the porch. Inside, dust motes danced in sunbeams, slanting through cracked windows. His old room remained frozen. Posters of Tom Brady, yellowing on walls, a baseball glove on the shelf like a relic. In the attic, he found letters, his mother's unsent, penned in shaky script. I failed you, Mijo, but I see your light now from afar. Forgive if you can. Sobs racked him, a dam breaking after years. Driving back, the skyline of Columbus rose like a promise. Jordan waiting with open arms, and the kids' chaotic welcome. Summer brought renewal, a road trip west to chase dreams bigger than survival. They piled into a rented van, crisscrossing the heartland toward California, where Jordan's contacts hinted at design jobs in the Bay Area. Stops blurred into memories. Fireworks over the Mississippi, Lila's awe at redwoods in Yosemite, Kai's triumphant splash in Pacific tide pools. San Francisco welcomed them with fog-kissed hills and rainbow flags fluttering like banners of belonging. Jordan landed a gig at a queer-friendly studio. Alex secured a social work role at a foster advocacy nonprofit, his voice now amplifying the silenced. Their new home, a Victorian flat in the Castro with creaky floors and bay windows, became a haven. Evenings unfolded in golden light. Family dinners of Jordan's experimental tacos, Alex reading from picture books that celebrated diverse loves. Romance reignited in quiet ways. A sunset walk hand in hand, Jordan's sketches evolving into a children's book about a boy who builds a family from stars. But fate tested once more. Lila's nightmares resurfaced, triggered by a school project on real families, her drawings slashed with red crayon anger. Therapy unearthed buried shards. Her biological mother's overdose, the foster home's revolving doors. Why us? Why now? Lila demanded one tear-streaked night, curled in Alex's lap. He held her close, Jordan flanking them like a shield. Because love doesn't wait for perfect. It crashes in, messy and true, and says, "You're mine." In that vulnerability, bonds reforged stronger, Lila's trust blooming like the window box herbs they tended together. As autumn leaves turned the Presidio gold, a letter arrived from Alex's estranged aunt, enclosing a faded photo of his parents' wedding, annotated in his mother's hand. To Alex, blood runs deep, but love runs deeper. Be happy, son. Closure washed over him, a balm on old wounds. With Jordan's encouragement, Alex penned a response, not seeking forgiveness, but offering it, a letter mailed into the ether like a kite string to healing. The crescendo came unbidden. A call from the agency about a fourth child, a 12-year-old trans boy named Theo, rejected by prospective parents for his identity, mirroring Alex's own scars. He's you? At that age, the caseworker said. Heart swelling, Alex and Jordan agreed, the paperwork a blur of hope. Theo arrived wary, hoodie shadowing his face, but Kai's shared silences and Lila's fierce protectiveness drew him out. Family dinners stretched the table, laughter multiplying like echoes in a canyon. One crisp December eve, under twinkling Castro lights, they gathered in the living room, a menorah flickering beside a Christmas tree. blending heritages in joyful heresy. Jordan raised a glass of eggnog. To us, the rejects who became the chosen. Alex pulled him close, their kiss a spark amid the warmth, kids piling on in a tangle of limbs and giggles. In that tableau, rejection's sting faded to a distant hum, replaced by the profound rhythm of hearts beating as one. Yet, life's drama never fully bows out. Spring brought a lawsuit, a conservative group challenging their adoptions, claiming traditional values barred queer parents. Headlines screamed, protests swelled outside the courthouse, Alex's face plastered on news feeds, dredging old Ohio shames. Sleepless nights blurred into strategy sessions with lawyers, the kids shielded in after-school programs. Lila, ever the warrior, crafted protest signs. Kai organized a team fundraiser. Rosie drew hearts around their photos. Theo, finding his voice, wrote an op-ed that went viral. My dad's taught me family isn't given, it's fought for. The trial was a crucible, testimonies peeling back layers of their journey. Experts on queer parenting strengths, neighbors recounting barbecues where love outshone labels. Alex took the stand, voice steady despite the knot in his throat. I was thrown away for who I love. These kids were too. Together, we've built a world where no one stays lost. Jordan's hand under the table anchored him, a silent vow. The judge ruled in their favor, a gavel's crack echoing victory, but more, a ripple of change, inspiring other families to step forward. Summer solstice found them on Ocean Beach, waves crashing like applause. Theo, now 13 and blooming with confidence, kicked a soccer ball with Kai. Lila and Rosie chased gulls, shrieks of delight carried on salt wind. Alex and Jordan sat on a weather blanket, shoulders touching, watching their constellation of children. From nothing to everything, Jordan whispered, lacing fingers. Alex turned, eyes shimmering. You gave me the stars. In a quiet aftermath, Alex volunteered deeper at the agency, advocating for reforms that ease paths for unwanted kids. Jordan's book deal came through, illustrations bursting with diverse faces, proceeds funding scholarships for queer youth. Holidays wove new traditions, Dia de los Muertos altars honoring lost parents, pride floats where the kids waved flags like capes. Challenges lingered, teen moods, financial pinches, the world's lingering judgments, but they met them as a unit, resilience their shared language. One golden October dawn, 5 years from that rainy Ohio night, Alex stood in the park where cherry blossoms whispered secrets. The Golden Gate arched defiant against the horizon, a bridge from pain to purpose. Jordan approached, coffee in hand, their rings glinting. Vows exchanged in a sun-dappled ceremony, kids as ring-bearers scattering petals like confetti dreams. Happy anniversary, love, Jordan said, pulling him into an embrace that smelled of home. Behind them, the children tumbled in play. Lila, 12 now, directing a game with bossy flair. Kai, 15, loping like a gazelle. Rosie, 10, her curls wild as her spirit. Theo, 17, sketching the scene with newfound ease. Laughter rose, a symphony of survival. Alex's heart, once fractured, swelled whole. Rejection had been his forge, forging not just survival, but a legacy of love unbound. In America's vast tapestry, they'd woven a thread of defiant humanity, proof that from the ashes of castaways, families rise, fiercer, fuller, forever. And as the sun crested, bathing them in light, Alex knew. This was redemption, not in grand gestures, but in the everyday miracle of belonging. They were no longer the unwanted. They were the world remade.